and Bruce. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate everyone taking their Thursday night out to come and see me. I appreciate it. For those of you who don't know how I came to be an author, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. Originally, I'm from New York, back home, yay! And I grew up in Long Island, went to school at St. John's University in Jamaica, Queens, and undergraduate and law school there as well. And in 1992, I had just gotten married. I was in my 3rd year of law school, and it was January in New York, so all you New Yorkers know exactly what I'm talking about. It was snowy and cold, and it wasn't so bad. But come March of that same year, you know, March in New York, it's not snowy and it's not springy. It's kind of cold and rainy and icy and yucky. And we had, as I said, just gotten married. We moved into a 1st floor garden apartment in Bayside, Queens. And unbeknownst to me and my husband, when we first moved in, because I lived on Long Island, there was no apartments on Long Island, and so I really wanted to live in an apartment, and I picked Bayside. We moved into this apartment building, and it's a pre-war building, and there were wood floors above us and in our apartment. But of course, unbeknownst to us, there was a baby in a walker who would roll over our heads with insomnia all day and all night. And so we moved in January 25th, we got married. We came back from our honeymoon, and my husband would sit on the couch looking like a character out of an Edgar Allan Poe book. He would just kind of watch the ceiling as she rolled over him. And then he'd watch back, and then, well, then he'd look at me. And I was like, oh, and so here comes March. And seriously, I got a job offer from the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office, and it came complete with a brochure of people yachting and jet skiing and boating and bikinis and Speedos. And so my husband wasn't into the Speedo part, but he opens it up. He took one look at his golf clubs and one look at the kid upstairs. He's like, we're going to Miami! Miami! And so I never even took the New York State bar. I took the Florida bar, and my husband got off the plane. Follow me here, Miami International Airport, August 10th, 1992. And 3 weeks later, we're sitting in our closet with the parakeet between us as the ceiling is coming down because Hurricane Andrew blew through my living room. It took out all the windows, and he's sitting there. We're in this little tiny closet, and here's the parakeet, and he's just looking at me. And he says, boy, you know how to pick them. But, you know, I had signed a 3-year commitment. And that's one of the reasons why we had to stay. Miami-Dade said 3 years and that's it. But I also saw a palm tree in January, which is something that obviously we don't see up here. And we've decided to stay, so we've been down there now for 17 years. And my leap to becoming an author really started then, actually. I was never one of those people who always wanted to be a writer. I didn't, you know, at 2 start, you know, reading For Whom the Bell Tolls. I was never really yearning to be a writer. I kind of fell into it. I was a prosecutor with the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office for 5 years, and then I left the State Attorney's Office to go to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement as a legal advisor for another 5. And I couldn't have written any of my books without the experience that I got as both a prosecutor and a police attorney. But I was working as a prosecutor, and the funny thing about being a prosecutor is that they start you out in misdemeanors, and you've got petty theft and misdemeanor batteries, and the better you get, the worse crimes they give you as you climb up the ladder. So you move up from misdemeanor batteries and petty thefts, as I said, to burglaries of a conveyance and grand theft autos, and then from there you'll go to burglaries of a house, and then from there you'll go to home invasions and the more personal crimes such as rape and homicide and home invasions, as I said. So here I am. I was about 2 years into working as a prosecutor, and I was trying a serial rape case, and it was a particularly brutal case. There was 7 victims. I was trying one of the cases, and there was 2 victims on it, 2 sisters, 13 and 14, who were on their way home from school when they were attacked. The defendant himself was only 17 years old, and here it is. It's about a year after the crime has occurred, and we're finally getting to go to trial. And I've got one of the sisters, the one who was actually, one was raped and one was forced to watch. The one who was attacked, well, she's on the stand and she's very composed and she's very articulate and she could answer my questions. And the second one, the sister who was forced to watch, well, she's on the stand and I could barely get her to say yes or no. She was practically catatonic. And it's a year after this event. And I had seen, as a prosecutor, victims come to my office all day long. As a prosecutor, you know, down in Miami, I like to say, in Florida, justice is swift and southern fried. We don't, there's no grand juries. It's only, the only time that we use an indictment is if it's a juvenile bound over for adult court or a capital murder. So most crimes are charged by what's known as an information. As a prosecutor, within 3 weeks after a defendant's been arrested, you have to bring in all the witnesses, the victim, the cops, you swear them in, and then you as the prosecutor decide what formal charges should be brought against them. So you constantly have victims and witnesses in your office. And then you go across the street and you handle motions, and you handle trial practice, and hearings. So they're constantly in your office. And the thing with victims, and it's akin to all victims, even if you had your car stolen, something has been taken from you. And you can't figure out, as a victim, how to get it back.